Hello and welcome back to Tech Tip Thursdays. This is the second installment of our weekly videos where we from Lawyers Learn will show you how you can use some simple technological tips and tools to make your work faster, more accurate, and hopefully that much easier. This week, we're going to show you the Juris M reference manager. Now, this suggestion came from a very kind viewer who wishes to remain anonymous, but you know who you are, and thank you so much for the suggestion. Now, let me begin this by telling you a little story. When I first started working in the field of legal tech, and this was some years ago, I was called into the office of a very senior advocate, and I was told that there was a problem that needed solving. What's the problem? I said. Well, the senior advocate has a lot of research notes that they've compiled over the years, and this is invaluable information. There are case notes, there are book references, there are notes from arguments, different kinds of information that would be invaluable for the juniors. All right, I said. Here's the problem. These are in the form of handwritten notes spread out over many different notebooks. So how do we digitize these? Well, back in the day, the only option was to hire a bunch of stenographers who would painfully go through the notebooks, type them all up, and try and bring them into some sort of order, which we could then put into a database. All of this, as you can imagine, took a lot of time and effort. And that's not really viable. I mean, all of us can't afford to hire armies of stenographers to go through all our old notes and compile them and build databases for us. So what do? How do we handle this problem? Where do we keep our research? Where do we keep all those cases we've gone through, all those books that we read through, the articles that we've cited in the past and may need to cite again? You do keep your old research ready to use whenever you need it, don't you? How do you do it? Do you have some sort of Word document or series of documents? Maybe an Excel file, a Google sheet? But hold on, so you don't keep track of all your old research and references and cases and notes, all of that? Why would you do that? Every time you need something like that, you would probably have to spend an inordinately long amount of time hunting through all your old notes or perhaps some emails and trying to find them. Well, here is a much easier solution. This is something called Juris M. It's a reference manager that's been specially modified for lawyers and law students on top of something called Zotero, which is a general reference manager. Here's the best part. It's free and open source and you can use it without paying anything at all. Let me show you how to use Juris M. Now, if you take a look at my screen, I've got a Google search open with Juris M typed in. The first result that you see there, something called the Juris M project, when you click through on that, you'll be taken to this page where you will be able to download the Juris M application. Now, depending on what sort of system you use, a Mac or a Windows or something else, the manner of installation may vary, but it's not dramatically different from installing any other application that you might otherwise on your computer. Now, once you do that, this is what the Juris M interface looks like. I've already added a few items to this just for the purposes of this demonstration, but here's an article that I was reading for something else a couple of days ago. Here is another one. Here is a case that I've referred to in the recent past. Now, these are all listed in the middle section of Juris M, and if you see on the right, all the details of that particular case and indeed of any of these other materials that I've been referring to are all set out conveniently for me on the right. And I can pick these up for citations or anything else that I need in the future very conveniently. Look at the case again. I've also added a small abstract. I can add notes, I can tag them, I can cross-relate these to other items in my library. All of this within the Juris M interface. So how does this work? How do I add entries to this? Now, if you go to this little green icon with the plus within it and click down, you'll see that there's types of information or types of files that you can add here, which are conveniently modified or configured to suit lawyers. And if you go down to the More section, you'll see an even longer list of things that you can add. Simply adding something to Juris M doesn't mean that you will get auto-generated citations. What Juris M does is give you a neat set of pre-configured fields of information that you can fill in when you add this information, and that you can easily pick up in the future to write your citations. One good practice might be that when you add that book or that article or that case to Juris M for the first time, in the notes or in the abstract, wherever you feel like it, just write the citation down once, and then you're set. Adding items manually may seem cumbersome, but Juris M has some pretty cool features under the hood that make this a whole lot easier. Let me show you one example. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this arrow next to the one that we saw earlier, and it says enter ISBNs, etc., etc. Now, we know that many books, if not all, carry a certain number called an ISBN number. Now, I've taken the ISBN number for a particular book that I wanted to add, and I'm just going to type that in here. And let's see what Juris M does with that. So I type in the number, I hit enter, and as you can see, it's already found which book the ISBN is for, and whatever information it could find by itself, including the title of the book, the author, the publisher, the year of publication, the number of pages, etc., etc., all of that is automatically pulled in and added. So you don't need to do any of this manually. Fantastic. Let me delete this and let me show you an even cooler thing that Juris M can do. Aside from manually adding items and tagging them, and aside from adding things automatically by just providing the ISBN, what if we have a copy, a file of the document that we want to add to our reference manager? So I'm just going to say store copy of file. Juris M will then give me an interface to select the file that I want. I click it, it's added it here, and not only has it added the PDF here, it will also go and find whatever other information it can, as you can now see on the right pane, that relates to that particular file and put it into the right column for me. Now, let me show you one more really cool thing that Juris M can do for you, which is going to save you a whole lot of time. We do a lot of our research on the internet nowadays, and we may often have to cite an article. Let's say I need this article for my research. I'm going to use it for something in the future. I could, of course, copy the link, copy the title, the author's name, all of that, try and write it down manually somewhere. But Juris M also comes with a Chrome extension, which I've installed. And if I'm on this web page and I want to use it, all I need to do is to click that Chrome extension, and Juris M will start saving it into my library and automatically culling out whatever citation information I need to use in the future. So let's take a look what Juris M has done with this article. As you can see, this is the article that we wanted to work with. Juris M on the right column has already listed out whatever information was publicly available. Not only that, it's also saved a snapshot of that particular article, which I can click through on whenever I want. So there you go. I hope you're not going to spend too much time trying to go through your old research or find it across different files, different places anymore. I do hope that Juris M takes a lot of that burden off your shoulders. Here's the magic bit. If you connect your Juris M application to the Zotero server, you can also share your research with other people, once again, completely free of charge. So thank you once again to that very kind viewer who shared the suggestion with us. If you have a suggestion for some tool or tip that could help make all lawyers and law students' lives easier, or if there's something that you'd like to know more about, do feel free to reach out to us or leave that suggestion in the comments section below. Thank you very much. And if you're interested in learning more about how technology can make your life better, easier, faster, do check out Lawyers Learn Technology, our new program which helps you apply the methods of legal reasoning to understand technology, start computer coding and programming. Thank you very much and see you next Thursday. Bye-bye.